move on up to the United States. Well, here's the course of Hurricane Matthew so far. It arrived over Haiti just after 8 a.m. in Haiti, around about 2 o'clock in the UK. It's forecast to move north across the Caribbean Sea over the eastern tip of Cuba, moving very close to the American base at Guantanamo Bay there tomorrow. Then on Thursday, the storm is expected to move westwards away from Cuba towards the Bahamas. And by Thursday, the hurricane should be over parts of Florida and other states in the United States. Cordelia Lynch is in the hurricane zone at the moment in Kingston in Jamaica.
Hurricane Matthew rips into the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, the worst storm in the Caribbean in nearly a decade, hitting the poorest country in the Americas, threatening another humanitarian disaster. Tens of thousands of people are still living in tents here after the earthquake of 2010.
This is the most vulnerable suburb in the area. Here, people are going about organising things. We know that the hurricane is coming. We are communicating amongst us thanks to our own means. We will tell the people how the situation is. If things are bad, then we will come together.
Despite winds of 145 miles per hour and the prospect of life-threatening landslides, many Haitians aren't going to the 1,000 or so shelters set up, worried their few belongings will be stolen and a cholera death toll could soar.
There are various countries, governments, organisations who are promising their help so we can help the victims and receive food on time.
Forecasters predict the storm will move near eastern Cuba and parts of the Bahamas later today. 700 family members of military personnel at Guantanamo Bay have already been evacuated, and Florida is on high alert.
If Matthew directly impacted Florida, the destruction could be catastrophic. Just think about it. We haven't something like this on the East Coast in a long time.
Hurricane Matthew is creeping into a potentially catastrophic collision course, starting in the most vulnerable of places. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News, Kingston, Jamaica.
While gentle winds cool Europe, an air of hospitality rolls through Bali.
Well, now the much calmer weather picture here. It's dry and breezy this evening. The odd spot of rain may be around from that thicker cloud in eastern Scotland. The rain, though, over Western Ireland will disappear. Nearly all parts staying dry and breezy tonight, some clear spells. Cloudier, though, with a chance of drizzle across northeast England and eastern Scotland, and some showers possible in the far southwest of England. Then another mostly fine, dry and breezy day tomorrow with the best of the sunshine around in the south. A small risk of a shower in Cornwall.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Thinking of selling your home? Then keep it simple with housesimple.com. Get an expert valuation, professional photos and floor plans. Rightmove, Zoopla, plus 500 other websites. Just like a traditional estate agent. But the big difference? House Simple customers saved on average £5,000 in fees. That's a new kitchen.
Sell your home for just $495 up front or choose no sale, no fee. How simple is that?
Get ready for more action than ever with Sky Sports half price for 3 months. Watch more nail-biting clashes with 126 live Premier League games in the biggest season ever on Sky Sports. And enjoy it all with no contract. So get more than ever with Sky Sports half price for 3 months. Call or search Sky Sports offer. Sky, believe in better.
There are two types of people in this world. Those who hesitate and those who invest. Is your money going nowhere in the bank? GK Capital will give you more. Giving returns of up to 5 times higher than the banks. Setting your money free. Not bad. GKCapital.com. Set your money free.
I think an idea starts with a very simple thought.
We had to do something, and we had to do it together.
When Oliver showed me his plans, suddenly everything dawned that this is possible. It's potentially going to change my life.
I designed every part of this place. Just don't forget, they're not real.
Westworld, starting now on Sky Atlantic.
As sterling hits a 31-year low and stock markets surge, the Prime Minister tells Sky News the economy is doing better than expected post-Brexit.
I want the relationship that gives the best possible opportunity for our businesses to trade in, with and to operate within the European Union.
And after its own Brexit warning, the IMF says the UK will be this year's fastest growing G7 economy, but downgrades its outlook for 2017. Also tonight, the Home Secretary's new curbs on immigration, targeting employers, landlords, taxi drivers and petty criminals. A self-sufficient NHS, the drive to get more homegrown doctors into the health service. Plus, we see life inside Aleppo through the eyes of a 7-year-old Syrian girl. Plans are put in place to evacuate 1 million people as Hurricane Matthew heads towards the US.
I take this thing, you see, I can bend it a little bit.
And British scientists win a Nobel Prize for a discovery so baffling that it had to be described using a bagel. Hello there, good evening. The Prime Minister said she is determined to make a success of Brexit, but today the bumpy road ahead for the UK was laid bare as the pound hit a new 31-year low against the dollar. Despite that fall, Theresa May told Sky News she's feeling positive about the economy and that the country can weather the storm following the decision to leave the EU. There were positive noises too from the International Monetary Fund, which says that Britain will be this year's fastest growing G7 economy, while in the same breath lowering its forecast for 2017. We'll get more on that in a moment, but first our political editor Faisal Islam has this report from the Conservative Party conference in Birmingham.
The story of this conference so far is Theresa May winning over this party's Eurosceptics, always looking out for a potential betrayal. Her hard Brexit speech also spooks markets, however, sending sterling tumbling.
Hello, good to see you.
No bother, she told Sky News.
We see sterling moving in different ways at different times, but if you look overall at some of the economic data that has been coming out over the last few months, actually the data has been more positive than people were expecting that to be. It's early days, of course, but I think the impression is that the response has been rather calmer to the Brexit vote than many people had predicted or thought might happen.
The reasons cited for market movements were growing expectations of a fast, clean break from the single market, the European trading system actually created by the Conservatives.
What is the problem for you with membership of the single market that was such an achievement of your party and your predecessor?
Well, Faisal, I think, as I've just said, it's important for us to consider what the position of the UK is going to be. We will be an independent, sovereign country, and the question is, what is our relationship? What is the relationship we want in the future with the EU? Now, as I say, I want that relationship to have the best possible deal, the maximum opportunity for UK businesses to be able to trade with and to operate within that market in the European Union, which is the single market.
The Prime Minister's phrase, trade with and operate within the single market, very interesting indeed. In the margins of this conference, some suggestions from industry groupings in the service sector, particularly the city, that their needs are being sidelined in the Brexit discussion.
If that's right, and if she means that, that's good news. Obviously, I want us to be a member of the single market, and that's how you operate within it. I think this is showing this great side of Theresa May is that if people make an argument to her, she will listen.
In the exhibition hall itself, some are concerned about the currency market response, even as the economy as a whole has proved more resilient.
The drop in sterling has been a disaster for us already. We're a very small company, we're a micro company really, and we've only been going a year, and it's been going pretty well actually, but the drop in sterling has really hit us.
Mrs May is preparing her keynote speech to conference, moving beyond Brexit to try to make a centre ground pitch to Britain.
Are you abandoning some of the Conservatives' free market principles?
No, there's no question of abandoning conservative free market principles. But what I will be doing in my speech is setting out, I've already talked about Brexit, I'm going to be setting out the sort of economic and social reform I want to see that will deliver on what we've been talking about here at our conference, which is a country that works for everyone. That's an economy that works for everyone, where the benefits of growth are spread around the country, where everyone plays by the same rules.
Keep calm and carry on, says the PM. But she's well aware of the legacy of her predecessor, Margaret Thatcher, in European trade. Theresa May, though, has her own path for the country. Faisal Islam, Sky News in Birmingham.
So it's been quite a day on the stock markets, with the FTSE 100 closing tonight within a whisker of an all-time high. Sky's business correspondent Charlotte Lomas reports.
As the reality of Brexit gets a little clearer, investors in the city are nervous, causing the pound to plummet to a 31-year low. Put simply, a fall in the pound means that exports become cheaper and imports more expensive. Good news if you're a manufacturer and you export, but for people on the street, this will push up prices on a whole host of items, including the cost of your holiday and your weekly shop, significantly cutting your purchasing power. So who wins and who loses from a fall in the pound? Here on a London trading floor, they've been keeping a close eye on movements. A slump in sterling might be welcome news to some multinationals trading in dollars, but it's spooking investors.
Really, it's been this hard Brexit story that's developed over the last couple of days, where Theresa May, quite unexpectedly actually, has shown perhaps a little bit of her hand in negotiations and indicated that concerns about restricting immigration will end up trumping concerns about staying in the EU's single market.
But gains for business are pains for holidaymakers, who will get less bang for their buck when travelling abroad.
The people who will be affected by this are people who booked independent travel arrangements, who will settle their hotel bills when they check out, and also obviously going out for day-to-day expenses in bars and restaurants. Yes, they will see a difference in price.
And that difference is already being felt.
Unfortunately, we haven't got as good a rate of exchange as we would have had maybe 3 months ago.
I seem to be getting less and less for my money, rather, unfortunately.
We'll definitely be reconsidering whether we'll be going to Europe or not, because we don't have the spending money.
The pound is now at its lowest level against the dollar since 1985. While the sterling slides, shares are soaring. The FTSE 100 index of leading blue-chip companies bounced excitedly over the 7,000-point mark at the start of trading to a new 60-month high. But if you price the FTSE in dollars, not pounds, it certainly doesn't look as rosy. It's actually down year on year and one of the worst performers internationally. With talk of a hard Brexit, investor confidence has a big question mark next to it, and economists are waiting to see if consumers follow suit. While shoppers have shrugged off concerns so far, uncertainty surrounding Brexit is here to stay, for the next 2 years at least, and that could cause the pound to sink even further. Charlotte Lomas, Sky News.
Well, Faisal Islam, our political editor, joins me now live from Birmingham. This is interesting, isn't it, Faisal? Is she now beginning to row back from the hints of a hard Brexit she made at the weekend? And will all this be clarified in her big speech to conference tomorrow?
Well, Anna, now you see, don't you, why the Prime Minister doesn't want this running commentary. Doesn't stop us in the press from doing it for her. And it's pretty clear that on Sunday the message went out to this conference, to the mixed bag of Leavers and Remainers, that she could be trusted as a Remain voter to deal with Brexit. She was very strong on that point, and she won over those people who felt that there could be some sort of betrayal over leaving the European Union, and that was important for her. But I do get the sense, privately talking to cabinet ministers, that They feel that some of her remarks were overinterpreted. The presumption that there's going to be this so-called very hard Brexit shouldn't be taken for granted. And when I pushed her on this